How's it going everyone, I'm ZedFiles, and in this video, I'm going to be comparing the Iguanodon and the Parasaur in another episode of Arc Creature Comparison. I'll be comparing them through 6 categories. The first category is Resistance. The first test in Resistance will be Health. For the whole video, I will be comparing the creatures with their base tame stats. The Iguanodon has 250 health, and the Parasaur has 200 health. The Iguanodon wins this test. The second test in Resistance is Saddles. The Iguanodon saddle is learnt at level 30 and costs 50 fiber, 80 hide and 15 wood. The Parasaur saddle is learnt at level 9 and costs all the same resources as the Iguanodon saddle. The Parasaur wins this test since its saddle is learnt way earlier than the Iguanodon's. The Resistance category is a draw with 1 win per creature. The next category is Attacks. This category also doubles as a test. The Iguanodon's first attack is its thumb jab attack. This attack can only be used when it's in bipedal mode, which is when it is on 2 legs. This attack does 43 damage per hit, can attack 1.3 times every second, which means it has a DPS of 55.9 and uses 5 stamina per hit. The Parasaur's first attack is its bite attack. This attack does 21 damage per hit and can also attack 1.3 times every second, which means it only has a DPS of 27.3 and also uses 5 stamina per hit. The Iguanodon has the better first attack since it does more than double the damage of the Parasaur's first attack. The Iguanodon's second and last attack is its Roar, which is just for aesthetics and uses 5 stamina. The Parasaur's second attack is also kind of like a Roar, and it's the Honk. This attack has a cooldown of 120 seconds, which is shown by the horse effect that it gets after using the attack. The Honk uses 80 stamina and applies the frightened effect to nearby small creatures, causing them to run away. The Parasaur has the better second attack since it actually does something. The Parasaur's third and final attack is the Alert. This attack scans the vicinity for enemies for the cost of 50 stamina. When an enemy is detected, a series of red circles will appear over them and text will come up at the top of the screen, letting you know that enemies were detected. The Parasaur can also be set on turret mode, and then it will be scanning constantly for enemies. This can be seen by the yellow glow on its head. When enemies are spotted in turret mode, the same things will happen when used manually, as well as the Parasaur honking, but not the same honk as the one that scares small creatures away. The Parasaur's third attack is automatically better, since it has no competition. The attacks category is a draw, because while the Iguanodon can do a lot more damage, the Parasaur has a couple unique attacks that can be very helpful. The third category is Mobility. The first 2 tests that I'll be doing at the same time are Stamina and Speed. The Iguanodon has 200 stamina, but while sprinting in quadrupedal mode, it doesn't use up any stamina. Instead, it actually regenerates stamina. Since it can sprint for eternity, its distance and time are infinite. Its speed is 48 foundations per 10 seconds. The Parasaur has 450 stamina, can run for 311 foundations in 122 seconds before running out. This means its speed is 25 foundations per 10 seconds. The Iguanodon wins both of these tests. The next test in mobility is Turning. I'll have the speed slowed down to 0.5 for this test so that you can see their turning radiuses more easily. The Iguanodon will be in bipedal mode for this test, since it is better than being in quadrupedal mode for turning. The Iguanodon's walking turning radius is very good, and its sprinting turning radius is perfect. The Parasaur's walking turning radius is also very good, and its sprinting turning radius is very good. The Iguanodon wins this test. The final test in mobility is Swimming. The Iguanodon has 150 oxygen and can swim 10 foundations in 4 seconds. The Parasaur also has 150 oxygen and can swim 10 foundations in 5 seconds. The Iguanodon wins this test and wins the mobility category with all 4 tests won. The next category is Utility. The first test of new utility is Weight. The Iguanodon has 375 weight, and the Parasaur has 480 weight. The Parasaur wins this test. The second test and utility is harvesting. The Iguanodon and the Parasaur can both harvest berries and thatch pretty well, and can harvest a bit of wood too. They both have pretty similar harvesting rates. The Iguanodon's seed ability will be covered in the next test. This test is a draw. The Parasaur wins the utility category with one test won. The next category is perks. The first test in perks is abilities. Bad abilities will earn 0 points, good abilities 1 point, very good abilities 2 points, and super good abilities 3 points. The Iguanodon's first ability is the ability to jump. This can only be used in bipedal mode. This is a very good ability and earns 2 points. The Parasaur's first and only passive ability is the alert ability when used in turret mode, which was covered in the attacks category. This is a super good ability and earns 3 points. The Iguanodon's second ability is the seed fruit ability. This turns the berries in its inventory into seeds. This is an okay ability since it isn't too hard to get berry seeds the normal way. 1 point. This test is a draw with 3 points per creature. The second test in perks is bonuses. Both creatures are rideable, have saddles, allow rider weaponry, can be mate boosted, are breedable, and lay eggs. The Iguanodon can damage up to wood structures, while the Parasaur can only damage up to thatch structures. The Iguanodon has a feces size of small, and the Parasaur's is medium, which will help with making fertilizer. This test is a draw, with 1 factor loss for each creature. The final test, before we get into the battles, is the taming test. The creature that is easier to tame will win this test. The Iguanodon and the Parasaur are both very common and spawn in most places on the island, but the Parasaur is much more common than the Iguanodon is. The Iguanodon is neutral while the Parasaur is passive. The Iguanodon wins this factor since if you can get some height, you can put a lot of chunks in it before it starts to run away, but the Parasaur will be running away as soon as you hit it, which will make it a lot harder to keep up with. Both creatures are knockout tames. The Iguanodon has 210 torpor, and the Parasaur has 150 torpor. In the wild, the Iguanodon will chase you in bipedal mode, which is slower than the wild Parasaur, until it is low on torpor, and then it will run in quadrupedal mode, which is slightly faster than the wild Parasaur. This factor is a draw since the Iguanodon starts off slower, but then is slightly faster when low on torpor. Both creatures are carryable by Argentavises and above. Both creatures can be immobilized by bowlers and above, which makes them very easy to tame. Both creatures are herbivores, so they can be tamed using berries. The Iguanodon's favorite food is simple kibble, and the Parasaur's favorite food is basic kibble. In both cases, the Parasaur will be tamed quicker than the Iguanodon. The Parasaur wins this test, which means it is easier to tame. The Parasaur wins the perks category with 1 test won. The sixth and final category is the battles category. This category will show the creature's unmounted combat capabilities. There will be 3 battles, the 1v1 battle, the saddled 1v1 battle, and then the 4v4 battle. Now that all of the tests, battles and categories are finished, it's time for the summary. The Iguanodon won the health, stamina, speed, turning and swimming tests, so 5 tests, and won all 3 of the battles with the use of some very interesting tactics. The Parasaur won the saddles, weight and taming tests, so 3 tests, and the other 4 tests were draws. The Iguanodon is much better for travelling, has more health and does more damage, making it a much better combat mount. A combat mount that can run for eternity. It also has the ability to turn berries into seeds. The Parasaur is better at carrying stuff, is easier to obtain, can be ridden at a much earlier level, and can be a living tripwire that lets you know when an enemy has been spotted. In my previous creature comparison video, I compared the Deinonychus and the Terrorbird. If you want to watch that video, click on it in the top left corner of the screen. And if you guys enjoyed or found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like, and also make sure to be subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any future creature comparison videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.